Chad, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Hunt. Just saying the word Masters makes me want to speak like this.
Yeah,
Or just
a soft whisper.
Yes. We go to 15.
It was a soft weekend for Tiger Woods. The 82 on Saturday. Man, it sucks because he makes the cut, his 24th straight at Augusta, and then just bombs on Saturday. He finishes the tournament 16 over. Of course, Scottie Scheffler takes it, and what felt like 16 under to everyone else's even par, even though it was close on the back nine, the second nine, I should say. But for Tiger Woods, Chad, I'm embracing the fact that at least he's competing, and that competition drives him. At the same time, it sucks that whenever he's actually making the cut, and he is 7 shots off the lead to begin on Saturday, that it gets to a point where the broadcast doesn't even want to show how bad it's actually been for the 15-time major winner. It's his worst score in a major to par at 16 over. And keep in mind, the winner was 11 under for the Masters champion, Scottie Scheffler. It's tough to watch, but when I do watch, I appreciate the fact that I'm getting to watch Tiger Woods.
Well, what is it the Marines say, embrace the suck? That's what I feel like I'm having to try to do, watching Tiger play through a weekend. Tiger's a student of Special Forces training. He's done that before. It's part of the reason he got injured before also. I can't help but watch, and Thursday and Friday I kept thinking, if he just gets to the weekend, the rest is icing on the cake. Doesn't matter what he does, just get to the weekend. What a victory that is to make the cut and play on the weekend. And then I watch some of him on the weekend, and I think, man, I kind of wish he didn't make the cut, where I didn't have to see this. Because it's just another reminder that for him to make it through 72 holes on a weekend is virtually a physical impossibility. To do it at any level, not even a high level for him, just a mediocre level, I think is pretty much impossible now when you watch him try to get around the golf course. I appreciate the mental toughness. I appreciate all that he's been through physically, everything that's happened with Tiger Woods. I appreciate that he continues to want to get out there and golf and try to compete at a high level and try to win championships. But it is difficult to watch. And Hutton, you nailed it. The fact that CBS and the Masters coverage, which is always reverential to Tiger Woods, and continue to do so by not saying what his score was or showing it when they're showing him tap in on the 18th, is very, very telling. That was difficult to watch over the weekend for Tiger.
Yeah, I mean, Tiger wants to compete, period. I mean, again, he starts the weekend 7 shots behind the leader. But it's the way things progressed throughout that day 3, round 3. Competing's all he knows. And, Chad, this is him just wanting to hang on to that for dear life.
Yeah.
For as long as possible. I respect it. And, again, going into the weekend, you see him amongst, those that maybe not in contention against Scheffler. Let's just be honest here. But to where he's a factor, right? And he goes from that to just the worst round we've ever seen.
Yeah, it almost had me wanting him to say that he had influenza like he did the last time he was in a tournament.
Yeah.
And withdraw. And, that's the way I felt after watching him on Saturday.
He made it through the conditions on Thursday and Friday, right?
Yeah.
And then the course was difficult. The course chewed up a lot of players.
Well, and he made it through 23 straight holes on Friday. That was the big thing, was that he made the cut because he got pushed back and he had to restart his first round, finish that out, and then pretty much immediately start a second round on Friday. To make the cut was a victory in and of itself, but it's not always that end of the first day or through the second round that does it. It's the cumulative effect of his physical condition and the wear and tear of you get to Saturday and Sunday, he can't physically do it. And that's what we're all realizing watching him play. And while we admire the courage, we admire the mental toughness it takes to get out there and continue to try that we see with Tiger, it still doesn't make it any easier to watch someone who was so great for so long limp around and struggle through 2 rounds of weekend golf at the Masters the way Tiger just did.
Everyone's soaking it in, though, the fact that he's out there. Same for Vern Lundquist, who just wrapped up his 40th and final Masters tournament as a broadcaster. Great send-off by CBS there. with him on coverage of 16 and 17 and how he tossed things back to the tower. But on the featured groups, you can see Vern Lundquist in the trees watching Tiger Woods. Behind the bunker, there he is lurking, the man in the shadows. And the great meme by No Laying Up where Tiger goes on, shakes his hand. Vern waves goodbye to him, Uncle Vern, saying goodbye at the Augusta National.
That's a terrific photo.
And the meme that's been going around is, I wish there was a way to know that you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
Yes.
And that's what we're seeing here play out in front of us.
Great reference to The Office with that one. I want to hang that. That's a work of art. I want to hang that photo up in my man cave forever.
The handshake?
Just Tiger Woods shaking the hand of a tree is what it looks like, right? It's like he's greeting his old Stanford mascot.
Yeah.
It's what it looks. It looks like a joke,
does.
But it's actually Vern Lundquist's arm extending out of the tree. I love that photo. It's awesome. And Vern Lundquist is one of the all-time GOATs. He's amazing. Him on the 16th over the years has been awesome. I have often wondered where he set up each time, and I guess that's always the spot
there's
that he
a tower
goes to.
Too.
Yeah, and I guess they're not putting him up in the tower anymore, so he hangs out there. But CBS had good footage also of him. That photo is even better. But of him actually standing up and greeting and talking to Tiger with cameras on him and Tiger saying something. And, those two are a part of one of the greatest sports calls in history with the "in your life, have you ever seen anything like that?" where the ball just hangs on the lip with the Nike swoosh showing in 2005 and drops in, and Tiger's going nuts.
It's one of CBS Sports' finest moments.
It really is.
There's top to bottom from the crew.
It gives me chills every time they go back and show it.
On air and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like everything was perfect about that call. Sticking with the golf ball instead of cutting away from it for the I guess the broad reaction, the wide view.
Yeah, when the final group left the 16th for the final time, and Jim Nantz, they were given a kind of a send-off. Everyone that talked to Vern had their own little goodbye and send-off and tribute to Vern throughout the day. But that final send-off that Jim Nantz gave him, and then Vern starts talking, and if you notice, the music to go to break got louder and louder, and I couldn't tell if they were doing that because Vern was audibly emotional when he was trying to say goodbye, and they were just trying to cut away from it, of him crying, or if someone at CBS screwed up the audio part of it and actually played over Vern Lundquist talking for the last time.
Doubt it.
On the Masters.
That would have been cut fairly quickly.
But it was weird. It was like Jim Nantz said things, and then he allowed it to breathe.
Yep.
And then the music got louder and louder. And Vern started talking, and then the music got even louder, and then it waited an extra long amount of time to go to break. Then it went to break, and you couldn't hear what Vern was saying. So that could have been Vern just saying, "Thank you, Jim," and he got choked up, and then they played the music out. I don't know, but I'm curious if anyone else had the same reaction watching that. It was a weird moment.
Chad, recap for us the finest moment. His third and current wife, Vern Lundquist, reporting by Holly Anderson, the quote-unquote Mr. Steal Your Girl is the name of this story that Mark Nagy shared on social media this weekend.
Yeah, do we have this tweet to show the story?
We sent it in, yeah. So they met in a bar, and I hasten
Yay
to
or
add,
nay, Davey? Do we have it? Okay.
It was.
I can recap the story if you'd like.
Yeah,
for
please
us.
do.
So Vern Lundquist. Now, keep in mind, he's been married to his now third wife for like over 40 years. Okay, so this was 40 plus years ago. Vern Lundquist is working as a sports anchor in Dallas. He goes to one of his local haunts where he likes to booze it up after his broadcast, sitting at the bar, enjoying imagine what Vern likes to drink.
A place called Arthur's, by the way.
Place called Arthur's, which is
it's just perfect.
I mean, it sounds like the Regal Beagle from Three's Company.
Right after the 10 o'clock news.
I'm honestly envisioning the Regal Beagle and Jack Tripper from Three's Company, and that's where Vern Lundquist in this time frame in the 70s is hanging out. So he's there at the bar, enjoying his gin and tonic, and some fan comes up to him, a guy, and says, "Hey, I love you, watch you every night," and he's on a blind date. And he's on a blind date with a woman named Nancy. So he invites Vern over to the table, meets Nancy, and he says, it's the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, is Nancy. So this guy that just introduced himself, the guy named Raymond, thank you. Raymond is telling Vern, hey, I got a great gal that I know.
I know you're single.
It's probably, 1979, so he's probably saying, I know this broad that I'd love to set you up with. She's a school teacher.
We could double date.
Terrific gal. We should go on a double date next Thursday. So Vern is humoring this gentleman, Raymond, the whole time and saying, sure, yeah, I'll meet your friend. Well, the guy gets up to go to the bathroom at one point, and Vern, who just the ultimate snake here, looks over at Nancy and says, so how serious are you and Raymond? She says, not serious at all, first date. And he says, okay, well, he's trying to set this up Thursday. What are you doing next Saturday? And Nancy's response was, well, whatever you're doing, apparently.
I'm not doing anything.
I mean, what a charmer, this Vern Lundquist. Who knew? Uncle Vern, never leave your girl around Vern Lundquist.
Still the day.
And Raymond found that out back in late 70s, I'm guessing. I'm picturing late 70s motif.
And he said, forget Thursday night. What are you doing Saturday night?
At Arthur's Bar.
Amazing. Vern Lundquist.
I love that story so much.
And I can totally see him still doing it today in the same situation. Or single.
Yeah. Maybe him and Nancy role play to this day. Maybe they go back to Arthur's and, she's the stranger at the bar and Vern has to come pick her up again.
Chad, no storyline.
She goes on a double date with one of their friends, really spices it up. Hey, he's going to try to charm me. You got to come over here and make sure that I go home with you.
Hopefully Raymond's still with us.
I don't know how Vern rolls.
Yes. Well, I mean, who knows? Chad, one of the storylines that did play out this weekend, Meredith Scheffler did not have or go into labor.
Yeah.
Did not have the birth of the child for Scottie and Meredith.
Everyone who bet on Scheffler's thrilled.
Yes.
With this news. They should be sending a bouquet of flowers to Meredith for not allowing her water to break during this important time.
Chad, Scottie Scheffler stands alone. Since 2020, he is 73 under par. And the second closest, this is in majors, the second closest is McIlroy at 34 under. Think about that. That's a huge gap between the haves and the have-nots. 73 under to 34 under. And the dominance, I know, has us asking questions about, well, is this really the young talent that we're seeing on the up-and-coming, or is it just Scottie Scheffler and, well, what's going to be everyone battling for second place?
Well, I'm struck by Scheffler, and we'll get to Sunday's round also, but just in general, watching him on full swing, reading about him, he's refreshingly boring in that he is a legit family guy, grounded, good son, good friend to everyone, great husband, going to be a great dad, is never going to be a part of any controversy, and just a dynamite golfer. I mean, there's nothing crazy about Scottie Scheffler. There's no weird stories about how he is as a competitor and he won't speak to people on the golf course and, he has this type of demeanor on the course and off. He is so radically consistent in his life and his approach to his game that it does almost make it boring. I'm watching the Masters yesterday, and while I'm struck by the beauty of that event every time it happens, I can't help but watch and be almost bored because you just know Scheffler's going to come through and no one's going to challenge. Now, that's not his fault. I think that's also a statement about guys like Max Homa and Colin Morikawa that had a chance to do something and did nothing. They wilted. I wouldn't say completely self-destructed, but they did not do enough to challenge the great Scottie Scheffler. But did anyone really doubt as that round went on? It got to everyone. There was 3 players at 6 under after 4 holes. And then once Scheffler got that 2-stroke lead, was there any doubting him? And because that lack of doubt, it does lead me to be a little bit bored watching it. But that's a great thing if you want a superstar in the game. And right now, that's Scottie Scheffler. It's fascinating to me, Hutton, because this is not a guy who is divisive in any way. He's not a guy who is going to spark emotion one way or the other about him. He does not make me nostalgic. He does not make me overly happy. He does not make me angry. he just makes me appreciate the way he plays golf and lives his life. But is that what's best for the game moving forward? I don't know. And all of this in the backdrop of whatever the hell's going on with LIV and PGA Tour, which every golf person we bring on, we ask, and no one has a good answer about what that's going to look like, how that's going to happen, all of those things. But Scottie Scheffler's that dude right now in golf and on the PGA Tour. He's had a remarkable go, and there's not a lot more to say about him other than he's a great guy, and he's the best golfer in the game right now.
Yeah, and I mean, there were, 4 players tied at 6 under right before the turn. And then you had Morikawa. He was out of it at 11 when he hit it in the water. Homa had a terrible 12th hole, and he flew it into the green and then into that bush that they couldn't even find the golf ball for on that par 3. I mean, that could have been Scheffler. And where the scores were, it just takes one bad swing from Scottie Scheffler to make that an epic finish. But he just didn't have that. He's so
But did
consistent.
you ever feel like he was going to have it?
Well,
that's what's crazy is I'm watching this, and full disclosure, I had money on 2 guys right behind him.
Same.
So I'm rooting for Scottie Scheffler to hook one to the water at some point or do something wrong. But I'm also watching it, and I'm thinking, this guy's not going to screw up.
If he blinked one time, by the 17th hole.
I never felt like he was going to screw it up. I mean, even the whole time, sometimes you get little inklings that, there could be a crack in the facade here. Or maybe he's not going to play this club the right way, or this hole gives him problems.
Or a putt lips out.
I never felt that way. Ludvig Åberg, 24-year-old Swede, was the one guy who went 3 under for the day. Had he started at 6 or 7 under,
yes,
he could have provided some pressure.
But he was one of those tied.
But he was one of those guys that were too far back that had a good final round that ended up finishing second. But if he started where Morikawa and Homa did, then maybe he put some pressure on Scheffler. But, I mean, I felt like it was a Sunday walk in the park for Scheffler. I don't feel like he was ever stressed, pressured at all.
He doesn't play like that. The others did.
Yeah,
the others
he was fun.
Did. And, again, 4 tied as they made the turn. And then, by 17, it was pretty much over. But it was tight, but you didn't see Scheffler play like he was tight at all. With plenty of distraction behind the scenes. I mean, if you're going around, if you have your first child and you're thinking about your wife could go into labor at any moment for 4 rounds, that's still in the back of your mind, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to get called off the course or whatever the parameters were, that didn't happen. So with his win, he takes home the $3.6 million payout, which I didn't know this, but the $18 million purse is not, they don't speak about that on CBS. I've never noticed that, but that's a note from Front Office Sports.
That is interesting.
So his PGA earnings are now over $15 million this year. And his career earnings on the course, $82 million. That's 6th most in history already for him. And he's now made over $12 million on course alone in the last 35 days. The dominance there. By the way, that's $361,000 per day over the last 35 days. Dominant.
Do you think that there's anything that the Masters could request of CBS that they would not do? I thought about this over the weekend. Like, I love it because it makes it so different. But patrons, don't talk about the purse. You can't mention a price. You have to say things this way. You have to do it this way. Like, if the Masters just decided this is no longer a golf ball, you have to call it a dimpled puck. And that's what we call it at the Masters. And Jim Nantz has to say dimpled puck. That he really, that was a great dimpled puck shot. And he really struck the dimpled puck well. Would CBS do it?
Sure.
I really believe they would do whatever the Masters told them to do. However ridiculous, whatever request, they would have them do it.
Yes. They can't reference sponsorships on the shirts or anything like that. How about this? Just the earnings, the prize money for the Masters winner over time, and it's differentiated by Bitcoin compared to the prize money in dollars. Look at the price of Bitcoin compared to in 2012 to now. So what was 293,000 Bitcoin in 2012 is now just 46. in 2024.
This could be in Mandarin to me.
And the price tag
on
it.
This all means nothing to me. I can't even look at that and tell you what that says.
But it's just interesting how it's.
I cannot tell you how little interest I have in Bitcoin.
3.2 million in 2024 is 46
right.
Bitcoin.
I still, maybe I'm an idiot. I still don't understand it fully.
Well, I wouldn't do it.
And
if
I look at it, I'm thinking, what? I don't.
If I can't explain it in a sentence, I'm not backing it.
You know how in Japanese they write up and down and not left to right?
This is like the Egyptian
That's
language.
what that looks like to me. There are certain things I've talked about this.
You're carving out
you
Pharaoh
get to a certain amount of millions
with a dog,
right? Like if you get a number so big, I can't even fathom the number. When I see this, let's show that one more time. When I see this chart,
this is the prize money going up.
Money to Bitcoin, like my brain it's the opposite of what happened in The Hangover and what happens to Rain Man. When he starts seeing the numbers, it's the exact opposite. My brain is scrambled. I have no idea how to even conceive these numbers or what Bitcoin even is or does or still is doing. Is it a thing? Are people still investing in Bitcoin? Are we still going on that? No idea.
According to Colin, the Masters told Jason Day to change his sweater that he was wearing on Friday.
Did he do it?
I mean, it was obnoxious.
Wow.
It's obnoxious. I mean, he's got.
Well, it's a PR stunt, right?
Sure.
I had buddies sending me texts of the pictures. They're like, are they really thinking this is good? I said, no, I think they're really trying to get everyone to talk about it.
Yeah, but when we've talked with some guys in the past that will say, like, I don't really know the wardrobe. It's just sent to me, and it's planned out by the sponsor. You know?
Here is what I've always thought about. So, Wimbledon, you have to wear white. They have all these stipulations for how you participate in it. I'm surprised the Masters just doesn't demand to play in the tournament that you cannot wear your sponsor, that you have to wear Masters apparel. Like you have to go to the pro shop and wear a Masters themed shirt, and everyone has to wear a Masters themed shirt in order to participate. That is how well they have it.
Yeah.
They do whatever the hell they want. We've talked about this for years, the TV rights. I'm surprised they don't make them do that, especially with this.
But you see what I'm saying, though? Like, this is just
whatever this is.
Yeah, this looks like something that the Bulls at The Last Dance would wear back in the 90s.
Yeah. I think Mark Pope and his 96 Kentucky Wildcats actually wore this in celebration at some point.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that I bought that, whatever this sweater is, from Abercrombie & Fitch in 1994 and wore it for school pictures. Polo. That was my 7th grade school picture, I think, was that shirt and undershirt.
You get polo with the massive horse, the polo player,
huge
the
polo.
massive one.
The polo shirt where the polo horse guy was bigger than the sternum. That's the same type of feel we're going for with Jason.
From the collar to the belly button.
It's
polo
terrible.
Ralph Lauren.
But I mean, it was clearly done to be. It's like performance art. I think it was just done to get people talking about the brand.
Well, it did it.
It's like a Super Bowl commercial that no one understands. That ends with go to www.whatever to find out what this is. That was that version of it with this apparel.
You mentioned the Wildcats. That's a great example of the 90s throwback. How about the throwback press conference? Not in attendance. 20,000 packed Rupp Arena for Mark Pope's introductory press conference as the new head coach of the Wildcats. 5,000, upwards of 5,000, were turned away trying to get in. There were people camping out at 8 a.m. on Sunday for a press conference that started at, 3:30 in the afternoon, 4:30 in the afternoon. Chad, Kentucky and Mark Pope, I thought they crushed this. They won the press conference. This is a great example of winning the press conference, even though the actual report of him becoming the next coach didn't go over very well. Now they have to back it up. Maybe it's a home run hire, maybe it's not. But this was a home run presser. And look at how they entered the arena with the 90s championship team throwback here. And look at there's Tony Delk. And then Mark Pope comes off the bus with the championship. I love that. Just first impression, I don't know if you could have a better entrance than that if you're Mark Pope coming back onto the court with your championship teammates and pointing to that as the overall theme of why you took this job, why you sought the pressure of the gig, and why you embrace the fan base that will ultimately love you or hate you based on results. It was great.
I've always been one that said you can't allow a good press conference to change your opinion of a coaching hire. Now, you can't allow an awful press conference to change your opinion of someone. I think of Jim Tomsula with the San Francisco 49ers as someone that immediately I'm thinking really, really bad. Adam Gase and the crazy eyes.
Yep.
You knew something was up when that happened. But on the flip side of that, I've been consistent about don't allow someone who has a great press conference to change your opinion of the coaching hire. Until now. I've completely changed my mind on Mark Pope. That was a stroke of genius.
Well,
the whole thing was remarkable to witness. 22,000 people in the arena for what turned into a pep rally for Kentucky basketball. Outstanding. By the way, 5,000 people turned away. Can you imagine if you drove from hours away and you were one of the 5,000 that got turned away for a press conference? How disappointing that must be if you're a Kentucky Wildcats fan. Everything he said, Hutton, I felt like I was in attendance for The Rock taking the mic at a WWE promotion. He was incredible, feeding off the crowd and giving them not vegetables, giving them the raw red meat that BBN has wanted for so long.
Emotion.
We're going to bring this thing back to the 90s.
Passion.
We're going to bring this thing back to Kentucky being what matters and not NBA draft stock and not NBA players developed.
Who did that?
John Calipari. Everything John Calipari would have said, he did the opposite. We want to go to Maui. We want to get back in big tournaments early in the season like that. We want to do this, that. It was remarkable. Well done, Mark Pope. Well done, Kentucky.
Yes.
I've changed my opinion on the guy. I think he's going to do great at Kentucky. And I love the hire now based off that press conference.
Calipari goes out pointing to his players. This is the reason why they lost in the tournament. Mark Pope gets to the podium, and he points to his former teammates and former players for the program, and then points to the banners.
Every coach in America, at every other job in America, stands up at the press conference and they try and moderate expectations. We don't do that here in Kentucky. When Mitch called me and talked to me about being the head coach here at Kentucky, I understand the assignment. We are here to win banners.
There you go. And look at the fans. The bus is just awesome.
Yeah.
And they have the spotlight on it for 96.
And as we go through this journey, we're here to win banners in Nashville. Because you guys turn out in Nashville like nobody else, and that matters. And we are here, our job here, our assignment is to go win banners in the Final Four, win national championships. That's our job.
And he points to his teammates. He's like, I'm going to group chat with my teammates from the championship season. We're all there together. Trust me, they're going to give me hell if things are screwed up.
They're going to crush me. They're going to destroy me if I screw it up. And I love that he said, Mitch isn't going to like this, but I know the assignment. It's to hang banners. I love it. He is not ducking expectation at Kentucky. He won me over.
And can they have a shepherd return? Well, he mentions that he wants to be a shepherd for the program.
I believe these players, man, our job as coaches is we get to be shepherds.
He acts like he didn't mean to do it.
He knew what he was doing.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't tell if that was him calling a shot, saying we've already got Reed coming back, or like his public appeal
What an announcement
to
that
the
would have
dad to say that we're going after
What
him.
an announcement that would have been.